What up, fellow nerds, and welcome to Not Your Status Quo's recap of D23 2019.
If you like this video, make sure that you hit the like button. Share it with your friends. They're going to want to see this.
And hit the bell to be notified of future videos.
So let's start with talking about the new Disney Plus series.
That was Friday afternoon. They had the Disney Plus panel at D23. They talked about a lot of things other than Marvel or Star Wars, but we're going to kind of stick to Marvel and Star Wars since that's kind of what we're all about. And it kicks off with What If, the animated series coming to Disney Plus.
But what if it doesn't?
Whoa.
Doug's blowing her mind too early in the video.
Okay, man. Okay.
And according to Dave's friend Kevin Feige, almost every MCU actor is returning. And the first episode is What If Peggy Carter Took the Super Soldier Serum?
Ooh.
Which is very interesting. They showed footage that included the first lines from Jeffrey Wright's The Watcher, as well as snippets of the other storylines, including Bucky the Winter Soldier facing off against a zombie. Obviously, Peggy Carter getting the Super Soldier Serum. Captain Britain, I think they're going to call her. They had a picture of her in like a Union Jack type thing, but looked pretty good.
And that's pretty awesome.
And and Steve Rogers taking on a more bulky Mark I Iron Man suit.
Oh, now that would be really interesting to see.
And according to this, they're going to have 23 episodes, one for each MCU movie.
Okay.
So obviously, Captain America, the first Avenger, is the Peggy Carter taking the Super Soldier Serum. What do you think some of the other what-ifs might be? Like, what if Malekith was a good villain with depth and a motive?
What if the real Mandarin was in Iron Man 3?
What if in Iron Man 1, him and guy that he fought against at the end of the movie, our
Stane?
old pal.
Obadiah Stane?
Obadiah Stane. What if they just, chilled out and had some White Russians and,
They worked it out. They put it down on paper.
Chilled, man.
What if? You never know.
What if?
What if Star-Lord wouldn't have slapped the crap out of Thanos?
What if he had never been abducted? Ooh.
Ooh, that would be an interesting
That would be interesting. Ripple effect, man.
No, I like it. Hey, and if you guys have any thoughts on what they could be, please put it in the comments
absolutely.
down below.
We would love to hear what you guys think. So let us know every idea that you think that from maybe What If Comics, any ideas that you think that you'd love to see on the screen. We'd love to discuss it.
And next, they had Loki, which is going to follow Loki after the events, or following the events of Avengers Endgame, where he went with the Tesseract. And whether he'll make a friend, and whether the sun will shine on Loki again. And they didn't really show any clips, but, I'm really getting more and more
this
excited
is almost
for this.
another, what if you think about it. I mean, it's not technically part of the what if.
Timeline.
But, yeah, they are definitely going to focus on, this is what happens with a living Loki. I assume he's going to stay alive and not get his throat crushed by Thanos again. But, hey.
What if it's him making his way back to this universe alive after the events of Infinity War?
Oh, that would be very interesting.
And then he gets the Tesseract back to where it was, right when they right when all that happened, so that the current timeline can still happen. Because if he took the Tesseract, then there's no way they're making.
No, I think that would be its own separate
Ultron.
timeline.
Well, if he took the Tesseract, then they can't.
The
have
Tesseract
Ultron.
wasn't Ultron. It was
it was the
Mind
Loki's
Stone.
staff.
Yeah.
Okay, the staff. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But what would end up, happening unless Thanos tracked him down? He wouldn't be able to finish his Infinity Gauntlet if Loki's hopping through time with the Tesseract.
Well, what if he's coming back after the events of Endgame? There's no more Thanos.
And
Could very
these are
well
what
be.
ifs.
There's a lot of there's so many different things that a crazed trickster god with a Tesseract could do.
And it's kind of like what you were talking about before we shot the video, that it seemed like with What If and Loki was kind of rolled together.
Yeah.
That's what our conversation is kind of saying.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, and think about it. We'll talk about WandaVision in a little bit, which we know is leading into, in the Multiverse of Madness, Doctor Strange movie. Loki might have a couple elements of that too, and maybe Loki shows up in Doctor Strange. They haven't announced it yet, but if he's hopping through time in an alternate timeline with the Tesseract, he could be causing mischief that's going to cascade into Doctor Strange needing to get involved.
Mm-hmm.
You never know. But Falcon and the Winter Soldier. This is one I'm extremely fired up about. We already knew that Daniel Brew was returning as Baron Zemo, and it was confirmed that Emily Van Camp is coming back as Sharon Carter for this. And then they announced a new character coming to the MCU, John Walker, who is the U.S. agent, formerly Captain America, and is going to be played by Wyatt Russell, son of Kurt Russell and Goldie Hawn.
Nice. Very cool.
Good acting chops, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah,
with that
definitely.
family.
Oh,
And,
yeah.
you know, is that his sister then? Kate Hudson, is that his sister?
Yes.
All right.
And, you know, I'm very fired up for this because I've been saying for the longest time I want Zemo to start recruiting his Masters of Evil. But this could be. I know, you know, the rumors out there is that Feige wanted to do a Thunderbolts movie. And this could be a good way. They got 6-8 episodes of Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Mm-hmm.
That side plot could be him recruiting these people to become his Thunderbolts. And then we could see that in a later Avengers movie.
Oh, that'd be pretty cool.
So a lot of possibilities. And, you know, one thing Sam Wilson had said, or not Sam Wilson, Anthony Mackie had said about Sam Wilson is that the government doesn't want him being Captain America.
That's a shame.
And we know that John Walker was Captain America in the comics for a bit. So maybe they want John Walker to be Captain America. Obviously, the Avengers and everybody else want Sam Wilson to take on that mantle while Zemo's running around doing his shtick.
So what you're saying is Battle Royale. Who will be the greatest Captain America?
Old man Steve Rogers, Sam Wilson, or John Walker. I got my money on Sam.
Drone strike. I win.
That's right. WandaVision.
Okay, so tell us what you learned about this.
They said it is going to be half classic sitcom, half full MCU spectacular.
Interesting take on it. I guess I would have never envisioned.
Vision.
No pun intended.
No pun intended. Actually, yeah, literally no pun intended. I would not have envisioned a Marvel MCU sitcom. That's an interesting way to go about it.
Well, and at first I heard that, and I'm like, that does not make much sense. I don't
No.
like it. But Wanda, you know, the Scarlet Witch does have reality warping powers in the comics.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe this is her
Bringing
creating
him back
this
to life
sort
or
of
something?
bubble, bringing the Vision back to life, and creating this sort of sitcom-esque environment for them to live in. And that's, once again, with the Loki series and with this, that's where everything starts kind of forking off in the multiverse. And we learned a few...
Oh, Dave.
We learned a few other things. Kat Dennings from the Thor movies is going to be in this as Darcy Lewis.
That's a
Which,
shame.
if she's as bad in this sitcom as she is in, you know, Two Broke
Broke
Girls or whatever,
Oh, such
that's
a
not going to
terrible
be
show.
good. But
So bad.
Yeah,
So many forced jokes where they're screaming their jokes and waiting for the laugh track to kick in because nobody would actually laugh at them.
yes, if without the laugh track,
I
they
just
would
think
get
it's
nothing.
a joke-telling style that's just played. You know,
Yeah, no,
like
I'm with you. I'm
in
with
the
you.
80s, yeah.
It's- And then we also found out Randall Park will be returning as Jimmy Woo from Ant-Man and the Wasp. So that's a
Alright.
good thing. I like him. And then Catherine Hahn is going to play a nosy neighbor.
Oh, all right.
So, you know, some
Okay.
good things here and some not things I'm worried about. But
Mm-hmm.
at this point, I trust Marvel to do the right thing. And then we also knew that Monica Rambeau is going to be in this, who we know is Spectrum in
Good.
the comics.
I'm really looking forward to seeing that. That's cool.
And then they announced 3 new Disney Plus series. They announced Miss Marvel, Moon Knight, and She-Hulk.
Oh, I am looking forward to Moon Knight. My gosh.
I think a lot of people are going to be confused by the Miss Marvel thing. They're going to be like, "There's a Captain Marvel. Now who's Miss Marvel?" I think
Well,
that's
in her
Maybe
logo,
problem.
they revealed
Okay.
you see the Hela star from Captain Marvel in it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think she's even going to be more closely intertwined with Captain Marvel because she is an Inhuman, and unfortunately, the Inhumans TV show did not do so well. So is she going to be an Inhumans in the MCU? Is she going to be a mutant? We know that Marvel now has the rights to that. You know, we don't know how they're going to play that off.
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out. I've been speculating in a couple of our other videos, which you guys would know from watching them all. But I've been speculating like exactly how the MCU, how they're going to introduce mutants into it, because in other mediums, the Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver were mutants, but they weren't really that in Avengers.
Mhm.
So,
They were
I'm
miracles.
wondering. Yeah, miracles. Okay, they were abominations caused by Infinity Stones.
We know that there's a theory out there that's floating around that the snapping
Yeah.
is
Yeah,
or
yeah.
the blip, whatever, is going to cause the mutants.
Well, and the Eternals is going to be set at the dawn of time, so
Mhm.
that may have something in there, kind of bringing the mutants about. Really, they could go a lot of different
Oh yeah,
ways.
absolutely. Got plenty of.
They do got to give it a little break though, from the current cast and then the current lineup of films we just got done with.
Mhm.
They got to take some time off and let
Distance
us all
himself a
forget
little
us.
bit from it.
Yes.
I could see Wolverine coming in first because he is a big character, and
He really is like the biggest moneymaker out of all the X-Men characters, anyway.
honestly, I was shocked because Marvel has been introducing shows that are going to be playing on Hulu, like Ghost Rider and Son of Satan.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be all this part. So I thought Moon Knight, if he was coming, he was definitely going to be a part of Hulu. And when I heard it was Disney Plus, I got a little worried at first because this character has a very violent streak to him.
He's almost Deadpool-esque.
Yeah, very much so. He's crazy.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I know Dave is hoping Shia LaBeouf gets cast as him.
Oh, of course.
Oh, that would be beautiful.
Just do it!
Actual cannibal Shia LaBeouf. He's wanted for several Woodland murders.
But the thing is, and we'll be getting to it in a minute, after seeing the Mandalorian footage, I'm not worried anymore. It looks like Disney Plus is going to allow a little more than PG-13.
They're going to have like a
beyond.
wide range of different things, I think. And you know what? We'll talk about that later on when we actually get into like the streaming service as a whole. But yeah, I think they've got a lot of great ideas.
And then She-Hulk. As some of you may know, her alter ego, Jennifer Walters, is a lawyer. And I wonder if they were bringing this about since a certain character that may not be part of the MCU anymore may have needed a lawyer in his third movie.
Oh, you mean Night Monkey?
Night Monkey, yes. Coming to Marvel Phase 5. But
I am Night Monkey. I am not other character. Pay no attention.
But I'm very excited for all three of those. I mean, I love all of those characters. I was pretty shocked. I knew Miss Marvel was coming. I thought that was a no-brainer. But Moon Knight and She-Hulk were kind of surprises. And according to a rumor today, Red Hulk is going to show up, or Rolk is going to show up in a She-Hulk series. So
Interesting.
that could be good.
Now, do you think there's going to be any issues with that, with Universal still owning the film rights to Hawk?
I think that's why it's a Disney Plus series. It's
Okay.
a TV show and not a film. And I think that's how they're going to get around it.
And so do you think they're going to have an appearance of Hawk at all?
I do, because Jennifer got her powers by getting a blood transfusion from her cousin, Bruce Banner.
Mm-hmm.
So he may show up. He may be in it more than just a cameo. But I think he's definitely going to show up.
I'd like to see him get a little bit more screen time.
Yeah,
He's always, he's
I
always
think
a
he'd tell you the whole plot before we even see it.
Oh, God, yeah, you
Well,
would.
and the funny thing is, if he's not in it much, She-Hulk will have more screen time after this 6-episode series than Bruce Banner did in all of the MCU movies. So that's kind of scary.
Yeah.
Clone Wars.
So we're diving into Star Wars stuff.
Yes, we're now.
Shift into Star Wars. Can't wait for Clone Wars. Loved Clone Wars.
I'm over it because, I've seen so much Clone Wars media already, just, with the different animated series that used to be on Cartoon Network and everything. And then the movie that was in theater. I'm just, okay, I'm fine with it.
Well,
I'm not, super hyped about it, but cool.
see, the reason I started watching it when it first came out.
Mm-hmm.
Then I lost interest because it wasn't tremendous, wasn't great.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of lost interest. My brother was watching it with his boys, and it really got good at the end. The Emperor, after Darth Maul came back,
Right.
and the Emperor kind of killed his brother off. Sorry, spoiler alert.
And Yoda
And-
went on his inner journey.
Yep. But when the Emperor told Darth Maul's like, "Are you going to kill me now?" and he goes, "No, I still have plans for you." And then the series ended on Cartoon Network. So I'm really hoping to see some of that. And it was confirmed February 2020 it's coming back. They didn't say how many episodes or anything like that, but I'm very hopeful they'll go into this whole Darth Maul and Emperor thing, because the Emperor
I
had.
would love to find out, what ended up happening with Darth Maul, because, again, spoilers, if you haven't seen the Solo movie, which you definitely should, forget the haters, it was a good movie. there's a scene at the very end where we see Darth Maul, and that's pretty cool. So I'd love to know like why he, I mean, obviously he had no presence in any of the original trilogy. So I'd like to know whatever happened to him. Where'd he go?
Well, and we do, he did show up in the Clone Wars, and we'll get down to the Obi-Wan series coming up soon, but they did release a timeline of Star Wars, which maybe you're seeing right now. And
Maybe.
Obi-Wan Kenobi takes place right
somewhere.
after Solo. So
Oh,
there's a
okay.
very good chance I think Darth Maul is going to play in this series. I hope so. And I hope we see the
Obi-Wan
new Han
take
Solo.
him
I
out
hope
again?
maybe we see, Lando Calrissian back then. I don't know if these people are signed on for additional stuff, but I would love to see, because I don't think we're going to get Solo 2 at the
Oh,
theaters.
yeah.
As much as I enjoyed that movie.
It was so good.
But if they could continue it on an Obi-Wan series and then maybe a Han Solo series, they have a lot of possibilities with Disney Plus.
It would
Obviously,
be interesting to see
Kira?
a younger Solo bump into Obi-Wan and damn that Solo.
if I ever run into you again, I hope you're taking me to Alderaan.
Yeah, we'll talk about parsecs and stuff.
Yeah. And then a new Rogue One series is coming, a prequel Rogue One
Now,
series.
this I'm a little bit more excited about. I like the idea of there being, some more information about the Rebels. I know that it got a lot of hate from critics and from a lot of people who saw the original movie. I thought that it was actually pretty good. I think the story could have used a little bit of tweaking, a little bit of work overall, the original movie, but the sort of CGI and the graphics that they used, the amazing way that they showed the destructive power of the Death Star, which, I mean, you knew it was destructive from, episode
Yeah.
4, but actually seeing it on a planet, seeing that, that was pretty badass, and then Darth Vader at the very end.
Yeah, that Darth Vader scene. But
That won me over. I would love to see more of that.
and the cool thing that it's going to be, it's going to be a Diego Luna's character, Cassian Andor, and then K-250, the
I'm
robot
so
with
looking forward
Alan
to seeing
Tudyk. So they appeared on stage, they talked about it, and they wanted to announce the title to the crowd, but Kathleen Kennedy, who I know is Dave's favorite too,
She's awesome.
wouldn't let them. So I think the title is going to be a huge spoiler. So I'm kind of looking forward to that being announced. Hopefully, sooner than later. Unfortunately, no release time on Disney Plus for this, but
To me personally, I don't even know why it's necessary. It's gonna have to be really good for me to because I feel like the story's already been told, and what else can they do? And I don't even know if I'm interested in it. You know what I mean? So it's gonna have to be pretty good for me to like it.
well, and I agree with Doug. I'm kind of looking forward to the beginnings of the rebellion.
Yeah.
It's going to be a lot of spy, I think, oriented stuff. What Rogue One was like. All of a sudden, okay, we need to we know these plans are there. We know what's getting built. Let's get that. And I think there's a lot more to tell. And I think they could do a really good job with how the inner workings of the early rebellion.
The only
was.
thing that I need them to not do is please do not give us any more Uncanny Valley Princess Leia. That was a little creepy. Rest in peace.
Well, she
Carrie
will be
Fisher.
in Rise of the Skywalker.
Right. But I mean the young
No, I
face
know.
that
Yeah,
they did.
that
in,
was her daughter who stood in for that when they did the CGI around
Yeah,
her.
that was not good CGI though.
No, it didn't. Look
Just
good.
like with
Moff Tarkin.
yeah, that was even worse.
Yeah.
We're gonna put this cartoon character here and hope nobody notices.
Live action and Beowulf.
Right.
You know what I mean?
With all the power of a PlayStation 2.
It was PlayStation 1.
Good straight man.
Something we did get a release date for, and a trailer, which we will probably be breaking down real soon for you guys, is The Mandalorian.
Yeah, we definitely need to do a separate video on this.
And, we know it's coming November 12th when Disney Plus is released. They showed that trailer, which was amazing. They just showed some photos too. But for me, the big thing is IG-11, Assassin Robot.
Oh yeah.
I loved IG-88. I
Yes.
wanted to see more of him in the films. And we see someone frozen in carbonite.
Yeah, I noticed that. There's a lot of little Easter eggs that they're putting in there for the fans, including, and this is my opinion, probably the greatest Easter egg, a callback to only the best Star Wars piece of media out there, the Christmas special. We see the weapon that the Mandalorian is carrying.
That's
and
right.
As you guys have probably been able to hear from other places find now that is the same gun that Boba Fett carried with him. That was like a half taser, half rifle. Not quite sure how that works, but
It was a trifle.
it was a trifle. Oh, it's trifling.
And if you haven't seen the trailer yet, link for it will be down in the notes for look for it there. And then the last thing announced at the Disney Plus channel, Ewan McGregor came out on stage
for the Obi-Wan series.
It's supposed to film next year, according to Kathleen Kennedy. All the scripts are written, and they're ready to film. Once again, sadly, no plot or any other details were released, just that it's filming next year and all the scripts were done. But
Do we know who's writing this? Is it Lawrence Kasdan or anybody like that?
he could be. They did not announce who's writing it. So, it would be nice if Kasdan's writing it, because I think he helped
wrote the
build
Empire
this.
Strikes Back, yeah.
Did a lot of good. Now we're going to jump into the movie panels, and we're going to start where they started. Star Wars Rise of the Skywalker.
All right, so we've already kind of dived into our thoughts on this a little bit with the trailer breakdown, but we now have a few more thoughts because of some more information that came out at the D23 panel.
And a new poster dropped. You'll be seeing it right now, if I'm doing my job correctly. And it looks fantastic.
Great job, Keith. You did your job fantastically.
Can we see that again?
We see Rey and Kylo fighting on the remains of the Death Star, with Emperor Palpatine kind of shadowed in the background. Looks freaking great. And then, Kerry Russell came out, and she talked about her character Zora Bliss. She said it's shady, kind of criminal, which I think we knew, but then she dropped that it's an old friend of Poe's.
That would make sense.
Which, maybe they're going to go back into Poe's backstory, resistance stuff, where he was maybe doing stuff that, ends justify the mean stuff, and he was working with Zora. So that could be interesting. And JJ said, the character of Leia is really the heart of this story, and we couldn't possibly tell the end of these 9 films without her, and all of her scenes are going to be scenes from The Force Awakens. So no CGI. It's going to be interesting to see how they interweave this into the story. But I'm glad they did it.
Yeah. Well, they did say that she really is, like you said, she's kind of the centerpiece of the whole trilogy, this set of trilogy, and that was the other thing they kind of said was this would be the end of this set of movies, which that tells me that they might end up going forward in time with another one if they want to continue it, and if Disney wants to keep pumping out more Star Wars material, they probably will want to do that.
And we've heard rumors that the next trilogy is going to be in the Knights of the Old Republic era. And then Rian Johnson has said that his trilogy that he's making is going to be more Outer Rim stuff, away from the Skywalkers. So there's a lot of different paths they can go.
Did they announce that at the Rian Johnson's is still a go?
They did not officially announce that. Rian Johnson has been on Twitter saying he's still working on it and all that other stuff. But they have not. They officially announced it way back in the past.
And and then I heard it was canceled after that, so I wasn't sure if official word had come back out.
No official word. That was the rumor, which Rian Johnson keeps saying isn't true. But once again, time will tell. And then we saw, well, we didn't see because we were not there, unfortunately.
We will be one day.
Yes. New footage was shown. And it was some of the original trilogy footage, including Luke staring at the twin suns, shots of Han and Leia, and then you hear the Luke voiceover from the teaser trailer. 1,000 generations are in you now, but this is your fight. I did Batman voice again. I don't know why. And then we see some clips from The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi, and then they show wording on a screen, the story of a generation comes to an end. And then they show hundreds of Star Destroyers all lined up against a dark sky, and we see Rey throwing her lightsaber and calling it back to her hand, very Thor style is how they described it. Rey and Kylo fighting on a watery planet, really going at each other. And then Palpatine says, now your journey nears its end. You hear some Darth Vader breathing, and then the footage ends with Rey holding a red, twin-bladed lightsaber, wearing a dark hoodie, looking all creepy and dark side.
Now, here's the thing that I do want to bring up about that, because this is not new. Luke did something very similar when he was dressed all in black, when he was presenting himself in front of the Emperor. You would think Palpatine would learn by now that that doesn't necessarily mean that he's got them in his grips. It could very well be that she's just embracing, elements of the dark side like Luke did. She apparently was able to access it very quick. Maybe she is going to, like we said in our trailer breakdown, sort of be more of a gray Jedi, or a Skywalker. We think that they are going to end up being called, and that might be why the title is what it is.
And when I keep saying an end of a saga, do you think we're going to see Rey and Finn and all these characters again, or you think this is going to kind of be the end of them?
No, I think that it's the end of the Skywalker saga. I think these guys are all new. I think they can move on with it, but obviously any more Luke, like even Force Ghosts or anything,
Chewie,
I think it's all over with. Chewie's probably gone too. Mm-hmm. Even though he did create kind of a bond with Rey in The Force Awakens.
And that'd be kind of sad. I like Rey as a character, especially when she turns evil.
And the droids, they've been in every movie, and I would imagine they're gone too.
I would not be surprised, especially if it's Knights of the Old Republic. Obviously, 3PO was made by Anakin.
Yeah.
And,
just imagine him wandering on it. It's like, oh, come on, can we get one movie?
And then Black Panther 2 director Ryan Coogler comes
So we're diving back into Marvel stuff now.
Yes.
Black Panther 2. I am really looking forward to this. I wish we would have gotten a lot more info about it, But the first one was excellent, so I'm really looking forward to this next one.
How about it could be named The Sound of Claw.
Hey, I like that.
I do too.
That's nice.
That's good.
And they did say, they're calling it Black Panther 2, but they confirmed that will not be the title of this film. It is coming out May 6th, 2022, which is a very long time after the first one. And it looks like it's going to be the first movie in the Phase 5. And it's funny because it came out, they said, there's a script, we're not giving you the title, we'll give you the release date.
Wouldn't even tell us who the villain's going to be.
Yep. Makes me think that this was kind of something filling the place for any Spider-Man news if the deal between Sony and Marvel hadn't fallen through. They just kind of brought him out here and said...
Spider who?
Exactly.
Night Monkey.
Oh, thank you. Okay.
Yes. But it was good to hear some information because we now know the date it's coming out at least.
Mm-hmm.
Next was Marvel Eternals. The entire cast came out, and while they were standing there, there was like a backdrop, which, once again, if I'm doing my job correctly, because I have a photo of this, they had art of what their costumes are going to look like in the movie.
That was beautiful art, Keith. Good job.
Thank you. I try. They also confirmed that Druag will be in this, who's an Eternal, who's kind of probably going to be the main villain. And then Kit Harington was brought out, who news had dropped earlier in the week that he was joining the MCU. A lot of people, and myself, thought it was going to be as Wolverine because he's short, hairy, and he can brood very well like he did with Jon Snow.
He's going to dislike this video now.
Don't. Kit, we love you. Seriously, you're amazing.
Thank you for watching our video, Kit.
Yes. But he's going to be playing Dane Whitman, a non-Eternal, the Black Knight.
You know nothing, Dane Whitman.
Did they announce, this is in my head, did they announce that Thanos was going to be in this movie?
They did not.
That's too bad.
Well, and I heard a rumor, and once again, this is complete rumor, that the end credit scene, which, if we're already talking end credit scene for a movie that's not coming out for like a year and a half, it's probably not right, but they said that Maelstrom was going to be in this. And for those of you who have read a lot of the Avengers comics way back in time, Maelstrom is a part deviant, part eternal.
Okay.
I think his mother was an eternal, his father was a deviant, and he has the power to basically steal kinetic energy. And he was a major villain in like Avengers 250, where he was stealing the kinetic energy of the Earth.
I would almost like to see him go up against Black Panther then.
He might be a little too powerful for just Black Panther.
Because
but
isn't
it would
that
be
the main thing that his suit does? Is it repels with kinetic? Yeah, okay. I'd kind of like to see how that works.
I would love to see that. I think that's going to be very interesting when it comes out. And, well, I don't think there's anything else we learned about Eternals. So the next thing that was shown was Black Widow, which is the next movie in the MCU, and they showed some footage. And they show a shot of Budapest. Natasha enters an apartment building. She approaches the apartment door, gun drawn. She sweeps room to room, gun pointed, until she hears a Russian woman's voice. I'm going to mangle this. So I'm just going to do it as myself or Batman. I know you're out there. She reaches the kitchen. It's Yelena, Florence Pugh, and she has her gun drawn. Tense standoff between soon explodes into a full-on brawl that trashes the kitchen, bathroom, and living room. The hand-to-hand combat is brutal and relentless. Natasha tries to gag her with a dish towel at one point, possibly trying to snap her neck in the process. Yelena comes out with a kitchen knife, but it is most notable how Yelena moves mirrors Natasha's. So probably
She's
very
a Black
much,
Widow as well.
yes,
She's-
both trained under the same.
She's Taskmaster.
I don't know about that.
I hadn't thought of that. That is a very interesting idea because
She's mirroring
Taskmaster
moves.
is in this movie,
Yeah.
and he has photographic reflexes,
He does.
so he can mimic anything. So,
Huh.
damn, you could be on because they've never said that Taskmaster. They did a little gender bending.
Yeah, they
It
do.
made her Taskmaster. That'd be an interesting twist.
Well, there we
Damn,
go.
Dave, I like that.
Ding, ding, ding.
Yeah,
You heard it here first, folks.
You did.
if that happens, Dave is a freaking genius.
Only if that happens.
Yeah, only. Otherwise, he's still a dumbass. And then cuts to a sizzle reel of motorcycle chase. Natasha and Yelena having a drink where Natasha refers to her as sis. Natasha saying a very Taken-esque line, I have a very specific skill set, and about wanting to wipe the red from her ledger. There's also a quick glimpses of a more exotic, possible tropical location. And then there's a bunch of quick shots of multiple women dressed in uniform like Black Widows. Once again, we know that she was trained at a Russian site.
Yep.
So there's probably more than 2 Black Widows
At
out
her
there.
ballet school.
Yes. And then multiple shots of women, which, gives the impression of a Black Widow costume was a uniform worn by other female Russian agents. And then the footage cuts to nighttime scene where it looks like Natasha's been in a car that has been attacked and blown up. She sees through the flames in a broken window a masked figure stalking towards her, Taskmaster. Which, once again, we don't see any gender. Dave, you may have just cracked. They're going to probably change it now because Dave cracked the code so early.
Kevin Feige is watching. Damn it.
Oh,
He got me again.
that Dave.
Quick, recast, reshoot.
And then you see Taskmaster using a shield to block Natasha's bullets. And then hand-to-hand combat where Taskmaster is mirroring Natasha's every move. Seems like we saw something like that earlier. Yelena is the Taskmaster.
Interesting.
Interesting indeed.
And then I guess there's some talking between Yelena where she's asked Black Widow why she always does that landing. And she's like, what landing? I don't do a landing. And then they show a scene of her like jumping off a bridge and doing a landing.
The superhero landing.
The superhero landing, yes.
Yes, Deadpool. Deadpool would be very
Deadpool.
pleased. Deadpool. He'd be very pleased.
And that is all we got from D23 yesterday about Star Wars and Marvels. There was a lot of other information. Disney Plus is going to have like over 5,000 Disney shows on it.
They are really looking to completely crush their
They're
competition.
coming out gangbusters, and they're gonna have all the movies on there right away, right?
So, DC Universe, they had Titans and some comics, and hey guys, come watch our stuff. We got things. It's gonna be really cool.
We got
What's
Young
that?
Justice coming back.
Let's not make fun of them too much. We enjoy it.
It's not going to come out right away. Disney Plus are like, we have this. We've got Star Wars series. We are giving them $10 million episodes, and you know what? You like Marvel stuff? We're going to give you some Marvel stuff. Do you like old Disney shows? We're going to give you old Disney shows.
And not only are we going to give you old Disney shows, we're going to get Hilary Duff back to play Lizzie McGuire.
Right? And they're like, oh, was it too expensive for you? Cool, we'll cut the price too. So, yeah, good
gonna be
marketing
hard to
skills. Very hard to beat. I mean, excellent, So, like, I'm assuming that once, the Warner streaming service ends up coming out, because honestly, we've mentioned this before, I don't think DC Universe is going to last for very much longer. I have a feeling it is probably going to end up folding into this larger Warner Brothers streaming, and maybe that'll have a little better luck.
And I hope they still have that comics as part of it. Because one of the best things
I
about
do
DC
like reading the
Universe
comics
is
on there.
you can read tons and tons of comics on it. And I hope if Disney Plus is trying to destroy its competition, what if Disney Plus came with a Marvel Unlimited
Oh, jeez.
Oh.
thing.
That'd be pretty cool.
That would be. I mean,
That'd be
once-
really good.
I would definitely use it. I would sign up. I read a lot of comics on Comixology, and I was thinking
I mean,
about getting
let's be fair,
Comixology
we're going to
Unlimited.
sign up anyway.
Well, no, we are. But then I would have to quit my job to make sure I have enough time to read all these comics.
Dave, Dave and Keith are both going to like just emerge, both with full beards, and so we've been reading comics. What'd you think of
I've read every Marvel comic on Unlimited.
And that's what we're reviewing today. All right. No.
I read for 180 straight days. Taking time out for meals, of course.
You ate?
I know, I'm weak.
But that's all that we got for you. I think all three of us are definitely signing up. Are you guys going to sign up? I mean, I think any Star Wars, Marvel fan, Disney fan is going to sign up for this. It's only $6.99 a month. They're
can't
offering
miss it.
packages with Hulu and ESPN Plus. I know Disney's not a monopoly because there's still out there people competing against them.
Oh, yeah.
But this looks like they're planning to crush them and become a monopoly.
Yeah. So Disney, we know that you guys are watching us because you are big fans of all of our wonderful reviews of your fine movies. If you would like to give us a special code that we can then give out to your fans on our videos, give us a call.